Hey friends, thanks so much for stopping by. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jules and this is a cozy mystery reading blog. I am back to do another round of reading, the first in a cozy mystery series, to see if I want to continue in the series. These are books that I acquired from my mother. If you have not seen my cozy mystery bookshelf tour, I will link that video in the description and you can go check that out. So let's talk about the books that I'm going to read for this vlog. The first one I am going to mention, I have had this on my list to read for a while, like at least a year, maybe more. That is Death by Dumpling by Vivian Chin. I am excited to get to this. This is a noodle shop mystery. And then also another one that I have been excited to start is Meet Your Baker by Ellie Alexander. And the third one is Death on Eat Street by JJ Cook. It is a food truck. So these are the three that I'm going to be reading for this vlog. I love food cozies, so I'm very excited to read all of these. The first one I'm going to start with, though, is Death by Dumpling. So let's see what it's about. Welcome to Ho Lee Noodle House, where the Chinese food is to die for. It says the last place Lana Lee thought she would ever end up is back at her family's restaurant. But after a brutal breakup and dramatic workplace walkout, she figures that a return to the Cleveland area to help wait tables is her best option for putting her life back together. Even if that means having to put up with her mother, who is dead set on finding her a husband. Lana's love life soon becomes yesterday's news once the restaurant's property manager, Mr. Feng, turns up dead after a delivery of shrimp dumplings from Ho Lee. But how could this have happened when everyone on staff knew Mr. Feng's severe, life-threatening shellfish allergy? That's a tongue twister. Now, with the whole restaurant under suspicion for murder and the local media in a feeding frenzy, to say nothing of the gorgeous police detective who keeps turning up for a takeout, it's up to Lana to find out who is behind Feng's killer order before her own number is up. I will be back to let you know how I'm liking this. Hey friends, I am back with a cozy update on Death by Dumpling. I have been using my little cozy sleeve. Look at it, it's so cute. I can't remember when I got this, it's been a while. It's just like the perfect cozy size. So I got this from Rachel, previously Happy Go Lovely sleeves, now the Bestie Book sleeve. I will tag her because her book sleeves are adorable. But I had to share because you see I'm wearing my new strawberry sweater. My most recent purchase from her. It's a strawberry book sleeve. And it's adorable. My obsession with strawberries continues. So I am enjoying this. Not much is happening yet. So we're following Lana Lee, and she works in her parents' noodle shop. She spontaneously quit her job without thinking about it and needed somewhere to work. So she ends up working with her parents at the noodle shop. So the noodle shop is like in a plaza area that has it's like an Asian market. So there's other Asian type stores in that area. So she takes takeout to the owner of this plaza area, of their plaza area that owns all of the storefronts in the plaza. He orders takeout. And she doesn't usually deliver, but the cook at the store was like, hey, I'm working on some other stuff. Can you take this? So she takes the takeout to him, and then lo and behold, he dies. And he has an allergy, which we know from the back of the book. It says he has an allergy to shellfish, and he died from the food that was delivered by Lana. So obviously they are focusing on the cook because he cooked the food, and then Lana because she delivered the food. But then there are other people who had issues with Mr. Feng, who was the owner of the storefronts at the plaza. So there was a rumor that he was going to be raising rent, and that some of the people were upset about it because they weren't going to be able to afford to stay there. So they could have possibly done it. And then there's a new guy who is coming in the interim to kind of take over for Mr. Feng since he is dead, and because the wife does not want to deal with it. So he's coming in to kind of take over and keep, the plaza running. So I guess he's a very young, handsome fella, and he has asked Lana to be on the board. He's going to be making like a new board committee that's going to be in charge of bringing business to the plaza and whatnot, and has asked her to be on it. And he has also asked her on a date, and she is not sure if she wants to go on this date or not, because she's not sure that she really wants to be dating anybody. But her mom is very adamant that she needs to get her life together and get a boyfriend so that she can get married. So her mom is very pushy and concerned about her finding a boyfriend. So her mom is kind of funny in that way. But the detective is also a young and very handsome guy who she has found attractive. But he also has to question her as a possible suspect in this murder. So obviously she doesn't want to have feelings for him. It's kind of the only thing I know right now. That's all that's happened is, you know, the murder happened and we're making a list of suspects about who it could be. Obviously, Lana wants to find out who did it because she wants to clear not only her own name, but also Peter's, because she doesn't believe he did it. Peter's the son of one of her mom's best friends, who also works at the noodle shop. But I will come back probably after I finish this with my final thoughts. Hello friends, I am back with my final thoughts on Death by Dumpling. I really enjoyed this book, so I'm going to give this a 4-star, and I am going to continue in the series. I haven't decided yet if I'm actually going to collect the series because, you know, there's tons of cozies out there and there's not a lot of space on bookshelves. I'm already running out of space as it is. So I want to be selective on the actual cozies that I collect. I love these covers. The covers are so fun. But I do think I want to read, you know, 1 or 2 more in the series to decide if I'm going to keep these or not, or like collect the physical series or not. So I really enjoyed Lana and her roommate Megan's sleuthing that they did. So they got together and they were like doing all the snooping around. They ended up at a strip club, a dive bar, breaking into a random apartment that they weren't sure whose it was. It was just a lot of sketchy things, but it was fun. It was a good time. And again, her mom cracks me up with the way she's like, you need to get married. You need to find a boyfriend. Just too funny. It was just too funny. So anyway, yes, I really did enjoy this, and I definitely would recommend anyone to check out this series. It was a lot of fun. The second book I'm going to read for this vlog is Meet Your Baker. Okay, we're going to read the synopsis. My eyes, I'm waiting on new glasses. I get new glasses, so I kind of have to hold this far. It's either that or I have to take my glasses off to see it. Says, after graduating culinary school, Juliet Capshaw returns to her quaint hometown of Ashland, Oregon to heal a broken heart and help her mom at the family bakery. The Oregon Shakespeare Festival is bringing in lots of tourists looking for some crumpets to go with their heroic couplets. But when one of Tort's customers turns up dead, there's much ado about murder. It says the victim is the festival's newest board member. She is a modern-day Lady Macbeth. She's also given more than a few actors and artists enough reasons to kill her. The silver lining, Jules' high school sweetheart is the investigator on the case. His flirtations are as delicious as ever, and Jules can't help but want to have her cake and eat it too. But will she have her just desserts? Murder might be bad for business, but love is the sweetest treat of all. So I have heard nothing but good things about this series. There is a lot in this series. So I will start this and I will come back with some thoughts midway through. Hi friends, I am back with an update on Meet Your Baker. So I am like right at the 50% mark of this book. So we are following Juliet. She goes by Jules, but her name is Juliet. And she went to culinary school and then she was working on a cruise ship. And she met her husband on this cruise ship and worked with him. And she has recently took off. I believe he cheated on her, and so she leaves. She packs her stuff up, quits her job, goes home. Her dad has died, so her mom has been running her bakery on her own. So instead of moving like back home, she was gonna move back home, but like her parents left like all her stuff like as exactly how it was, and she was like, I can't live like this. And so And she found like a little studio apartment, like real close to the bakery. So she's close to it. So she is working at the bakery with her mom, helping her mom out. So she has suspicions that there might be some money problems with the bakery because her mom is kind of being a little vague about stuff. So she hasn't moved home to stay home. She's just going to be here for a little while. She's decided, like taking a break, figuring out what she's going to do with her life. And so in this town, there is a Shakespeare festival that's happening. So there's like a local theater. They have like a committee of board members who help like run this theater and decide, you know, what plays they're going to do and whatnot. I'm not a huge fan of theater. That's just not really my thing. But there's not like a big talk about it in here, so it doesn't bother me. Like, it's kind of fun, you know, listening to them talk about. One of the guys in here is very, like, he's kind of like in charge, and he's the one who decides what plays and stuff they're doing. He's very theatrical. So like when he talks, he's just like, darling. And she just thinks it's hilarious how he's like over dramatic about everything, like in his daily life. So there's a new board member who's come on. Her name is Nancy. Not a very nice lady. Nobody really likes her. She's kind of bossy. She thinks she's in charge when she's not. And so they ended up having like a theater meeting. I guess they have like a monthly meeting at the bakery. And she ends up dead. Jules is trying to figure out what's going on with the books and why they're always in the red. The bakery's cleaned up. They're open again because her mom's like all worried. She's like, we can't afford to stay closed. We have to get back open soon. And Jules is like, what is the big deal? You know, make a couple days of being closed isn't gonna affect it. So then she's like, okay, fess up. What's going on? So her mom ends up telling her that she has loaned money to people in the town because apparently this town is very like busy. There's like a busy season and an off season. So like the tourist season time is when everyone's busy, but if you don't calculate or stretch your money right, then you could have problems in the off season. So her mom was helping out people and either just giving them free food or loaning them money. And so her mom, as the kind-hearted woman that she is trying to help her community, but not in the right way, and she's not getting her money back, and so she's literally not making any money. And so Jules's ex-boyfriend from when she was a teenager is now a cop, and so he's investigating the murder. He wants her to try and help them figure out who did it or who may have done it. So he's asking her to kind of do, which is unusual that the cop is actually asking them to do the sleuthing, because usually the cops are like, mind your business, stay out of it. They're kind of just working together as friends to try and figure out what happened. And that's where we're at right now. And I'm enjoying it. I think it's a lot of fun. So it definitely seems like a series that I will probably continue in. So I will let you know. Ooh, and it has recipes. I love a cozy mystery with recipes. I think I'm going to try and make the raspberry Danish. So it seems pretty easy. It literally has yeast, warm water, sugar, milk, salt, butter, flour, sugar, raspberry jam. Those are simple ingredients. I can get by that. Recipes and cozies is why I love food cozies, and usually why I collect food cozies. Why I prefer to collect food cozies is because they have recipes in them. Anyway, I will be back with my final thoughts on this probably, and hopefully along the way you will see some B-roll of me making these danishes, and hopefully they turn out. Cross your fingers. update on Meet Your Baker. But first, we are going to taste test my Danish. So I ended up doing a mixed berry instead of just raspberry. So I am loving how airy and fluffy it looks. So let's see. It said to make, the recipe said to put it in 2 circle pans, but I did not have that. I didn't notice that before I went to the store to get the jam. So I do not have that. So we are gonna taste test. That's good. I don't feel like it needed 2 full packets of yeast because it was very, or that it needed that much dough. Like the height of it, it's pretty tall. And most of the strudels that I've gotten like at the store are not that thick. And I put it in and I didn't even put all of it in there. I put the, I took part of the dough out, so I didn't even use the full amount of dough, and it was still really thick. So I don't even think it either doesn't need 2 packets of yeast, or the actual dough part of it needs cut down. It's good though. I mean, I'm gonna eat it. So, back to my final thoughts on this. This was such a good time. This was really fun. I love the mother-daughter dynamic between them in the bakery and just baking, you know, when they're baking. And I love the description of when she's making food. Like, I love that part about food cozies, like when they're cooking something and they're talking about what they're making and the ingredients, and it's just a good time. So Jules's ex asked her to help, like, listen around, keep her eyes open, see if she could figure out. But then she had a couple of close calls on something happening to her, and he was like, okay, you're done. Don't look into this anymore, which of course she's like, what? Of course I'm going to. So she keeps asking questions around and everything, and he's getting upset with her, but I am enjoying their banter between the two of them. And I do feel like further into this series, they will probably get back together. So she is still married, but she left the cruise ship, left her husband on the cruise ship, and he did not cheat on her. It was another secret that she found out about that he was holding. And anyway, and she is just kind of determining that she doesn't probably want to go back to the cruise ship life. Anyway, and her mother, she has found, also has another secret. So not only was she loaning people money, but she had, you know, another financial issue that came about. So Jules is like, okay, well, we got to see what we got to do to fix this. And her mom's like, it's not your responsibility. And of course she's like, but this is my hometown. This is our, you know, this is our livelihood. This is where I want to be. And yeah, so she's helping her mom with that. And I did not guess who the murderer was. I did not suspect that person at all. But anyway, so it was just a good time. And I was definitely going to continue in this series. And I'm probably, I need to see how many's in this series. I think it's a lot. But I may collect these. We'll see. I may read a couple more like the other one to see before I collect these. I'm going to have a whole shelf of cozies anyway. Oh, I did just, since we're on a cozy kick, hang on. So I made an impromptu run to Half Price Books yesterday. Got all these cozies. These are all Leslie Meyer books. And they were all half price. Obviously half price books. So they were all $4. And so this is a series I'm collecting. And these are in such good condition. These books are like in just fabulous condition. So I'm very excited to add these to my collection. But yeah, so I am excited to continue on the journey with Jules and her mom and the bakery and seeing what happens with that. So I definitely recommend, and I'm giving this 5 stars. It was a good cozy. So the last cozy I'm picking up for this vlog is Death on Eat Street by J.J. Cook. I have not read from this author before. When she's once again passed over for a promotion at work, Zoe decides to take the big leap and go for her dream. She quits, gives up her fancy digs, and buys a fixer-upper diner in a shady part of town. To keep above water during the renovation, she buys a used food truck to serve the downtown and waterfront of Mobile, Alabama. Zoe starts to dish out classic Southern food, but her specialty is her deep-fried biscuit bowls that blow traditional bread bowls away. After a promising start, things begin to go downhill faster than a food truck without brakes. First, someone tries to rob the cash register. Next, Zoe is threatened by the owner of a competing food truck for taking their spot, and when the owner ends up dead inside Zoe's rolling restaurant, Zoe and her sole employee, Ollie, find themselves hopping out of the frying pan and into the fryer. They need to find the real killer before both of them get burned. Sounds fun. I love the thought of a food truck. I just never get to them. We actually have it's like a when the weather's nicer. It's like, I think like the first weekend of the month or something, they do like a Friday food truck type thing. I might have to see if that's coming up and go check it out for the vlog. Got to do it for the vlog, right? Anyway, I will be back with some thoughts on this when I have them. Hello, friends. It has been a minute since I have come back with an update on this book, and if I'm being honest, I'm just not that into it. But I have to get into it because there's like 2 days left of the month, and I need to finish up this vlog. So I'm only 87 pages into this book. So we are following Zoe. She has quit her job at a bank. She was like a loan officer. And her family has money, but she decided she doesn't want to like continue in kind of like that dreams and aspirations of working in a bank. It doesn't interest her. Her boyfriend, I guess, also works at this bank, who has actually passed her up for a promotion that she feels like she should have gotten anyway. So she just kind of sat down and was like, what do I want to do with my life? I don't want to work at a bank. And so she opened a restaurant. Pretty much all the money she has put into the restaurant is not open for business yet because she is still trying to get it up to like code and get it renovated. So in the meantime, she has purchased a food truck and she is selling her biscuit bowls. So she has biscuit bowls. Most of them are like sweet fillings, but then Ollie suggested that she do savory fillings too. So Ollie is a guy who works at like a shelter, like a homeless shelter that's like right in the area by where her restaurant's at. And so he was like, I bet you'd probably get good business if you make up some good savory fillings, because then everyone will smell it and be like, and get hungry to come and check out her food truck. So she parks her food truck somewhere, and I guess this taco truck guy, Terry the Taco Man, I guess is what he is not happy that she has parked her truck in his spot, and they kind of had words. And one night after business that she hadn't done real great business, but she goes to move her food truck to take it back to her restaurant, and Terry's dead in her front seat. And she thought he was just like drunk and passed out, but no, he was not. So she is obviously a suspect in this murder. And her friend Ollie, the guy Ollie that works at the homeless shelter, called in a kind of like a pro bono type lawyer that was going to help her. And then we find out that her parents have connections and money, and she can afford to pay a really good lawyer, but she doesn't want a good lawyer. She wants this guy because she wants somebody who, you know, believes that she didn't do it. She has an alibi for the time that the body got put in her truck, so they're pretty sure she didn't do it. But there's another lady who was in the area, which I haven't really figured out what her job is like right now. She is now the suspect. And all of a sudden Zoe has like, oh, I'm going to pay for her defense, which to me kind of seems weird. Like, you don't even know this lady, but you're willing to pay for her lawyer. I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of all we're really at. She doesn't have an apartment because she has all her money wrapped up in this restaurant and her food truck. So she's staying at her restaurant. She like made a room up at her restaurant. And she's also invited this lady to come stay with her that she doesn't even know. This lady was living with a couple other friends, but now that she's a suspect in this murder too, they don't really kind of want her there. And so she offered for her to stay there, which again seems kind of weird that you would offer a stranger to live with you. But anyway, it's okay. I'm not like loving it. So I'm going to keep going a little bit further and see how it gets. And if it doesn't pick up, I don't know if I'll finish it or not. Anyway, I will be back when I have more updates. Hey friends, I'm back. I am not going to finish this book. So I gave it to page 130. So it was like a little over 40% in, and I'm just not vibing with the characters in this book. So I was wrong. Ollie wasn't in charge of the homeless shelter. He was a dude in the homeless shelter, which props to her for giving this guy, something to do or a job to have. It talks about like Ollie has PTSD, and then it also talks about something bad that like he's very sketch around police officers. So like when the police are like coming to talk to her to like investigate or whatever, he's like always trying to like run away and hide. And he's like, I don't have a good rap sheet with the police or whatever. And it kind of goes a little bit into it about something that he did and had, he has a rap sheet for things. I just don't like anybody in this book, which is sad. I mean, like, I looked it up on Goodreads, and it's got, like, a 3.8 average rating, and then there's several people that like it. It's just not for me, I guess. I'm just not vibing with it, and I feel like I gave it long enough to vibe with, and it's just not my deal. I'm just not liking it. Like, I question, like, the cat goes with her. Where are you leaving the cat at all day when you're out doing your food trucking? Like, it can't be in there with you because that's like a health violation thing, and you can't leave it in the truck, in the front of the truck, because it's hot unless you leave the car running. And then you can't leave it at the restaurant because also that's a health issue thing unless you're leaving it in a specific area. But it seems like she's bringing it with her because she always has it with her. I don't know. It does have recipes in it. I love that. I just, it's not probably anything I would make. It's like creme brulee. I would never make that. A spicy gumbo. I'm not really a gumbo fan. It does have a recipe for the biscuit bowls and the cherry filling, which, I don't know. I'm having a hard time envisioning these biscuit bowls because they call them biscuit bowls, but then she talks about it being a filled biscuit, which isn't really a bowl. And I don't know. You guys. I'm just not vibing with it, so I'm not going to finish it. It was reading like around maybe like a 2.5, 3 star the whole time I was reading it. And again, I'm not wasting time on books that I'm just not into. I don't have time for that. So anyway, gonna unhaul this one. And I obviously did not get to a food truck, so I looked it up, and my city does have like a bite. It's called Bite of Blue Springs. And so like, I don't know if it's only once a month or not, but like their first food truck night, the opening food truck night was April 13th. And that was obviously before I started reading this book and even thought about doing that. So that didn't happen. But I will probably at some point go check it out because it kind of sounds fun. Trying different foods off of food truck. So to recap, Death by Dumpling, 4 stars, definitely going to continue. Meet Your Baker, 5 stars, definitely going to continue. Death on Eat Street, DNF, gonna unhaul. So that's my last 2 now. I've read 2 good books and DNF'd 1. So I am looking forward to my next cozy vlog. I have my books picked out already. They are posted on my May TBR video, which should be coming out soon, if not out already. I don't know. So be on the lookout for that. And until my next video, friends, be yourself, be awesome, be kind.